Good morning. T sleeping in there. Mike. Hump day. It's Wednesday. Good morning, everybody. So my message today is for all of us to remember to give ourselves grace as we travel through this. And periodically, I stop and say this, and it's because, we want to have incredibly high standards. You've heard me say that a million times. If you want a better quality of life, raise your standards. You need to focus on your goals. You need to have amazing drive. But one of the challenges that we face is that we all have the same problem, and that is that we think we shouldn't have any. Problems are here to serve us. They're here to drive us. They're here to mold us. And when they pop up, a lot of times we forget that, and we forget that this is supposed to happen so that we can move forward. I mean, if you want absolute security where you have no risk of anything, I mean, that's prison. There you've got absolute security. You don't have to worry about the electric bill. You don't have to worry about food. You get your 3 hots and a cot. You've got absolute security. Life isn't like that. And we've talked about our story and how we need to divorce ourselves from our story. And one of the ways to do that is to remind ourselves what positive things have come from that story. So, let's say we talk about something in our past. So for me, my parents broke up when I was at a young age. My mom and I struggled in terms of our relationship for a considerable period of time. And so for a while, that was a big part of my story. This happened. Well, if you're going to focus on the bad, then you got to also focus on the good. And so you need to elegantly blame as well as non-elegantly blame. So look at those events, and I can look at those events and realize that that event made me incredibly independent. I was taking care of myself to a decent degree when I was at a very young age. I learned how to cook. I learned how to do laundry. I learned how to be responsible. I had to get myself up. I had to get myself out of the house and fed and bathed with no assistance. And that was incredible preparation for me when I hit college, because I was able to be organized. I was able to be on time. There were kids in college that were way smarter than I was, but I was more organized and I was more on top of things. I never missed class. I took the notes. I studied. And as a result, I was able to be more successful. As a result of that experience, when I got married, I didn't want to be married to somebody who was my mother. I wanted to be married to a partner. I didn't want somebody to just take care of me. And as I started doing divorces, I realized that there's a lot of guys that's the case. Their spouse plucks them straight from their mom. And what they want from a spouse is they want their mom. They want them to cook, and they want them to clean, and they want them to take care of them. And then over time, they start looking at them as this motherly figure. Well, then intimacy goes away, and the relationship begins to fade. And many times the wife then goes and looks for that intimacy and that connection that we all desire somewhere else, because she doesn't get it from her husband, because all he wants to do is have her take care of the house and have her take care of the kids. I never faced any of that because of this story that I told myself. So what's the story that you've told yourself your entire life, or stories, because typically there's more than one? And what positive things came out of that experience? Because there are positive things that came out of that experience. We learn a lot more from our failures and our mistakes than we do from our successes. And we grow a lot more from our difficult times than we do from our easy times. Much more. So look back and elegantly blame. I offer you as your challenge for today. Elegantly blame those events and those stories and those people in your life for the positive things that it brought out of your life. And maybe even communicate to them if they're still around. And if not, act like you're communicating it to them. Write them a letter or write it down and just speak it to them. But say, maybe it's a parent, maybe it's a sibling. Yes, Marley is saying that it's awake. She's awake. Quiet. Maybe it's a parent, maybe it's a sibling. But let them know that as a result of those activities that you blame them for, or there was a story or whatever, all of these positive things happened. A great way to divorce ourselves from our story is to take a look at what good came out of that thing, how did I grow, and how did it make me the person that I am today? Because I guarantee, whatever your difficult story is, and we all have one, it molded you in a positive way into many of the things that you are today. And you wouldn't be there if it wasn't for that. I would not be the person that I am today if it wasn't for that experience with my parents. I would not be the person that I am to this day if it wasn't for that experience with my mom, who I now have a tremendous relationship with, which also added to that story. It gave me that opportunity to come back and connect. So that's my offer to you today. Give yourself grace. We're all supposed to have problems. That's life. Remember, problems equal a solution, which equals change, which equals a new problem. So welcome them as they come. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great Wednesday. Let's take care of each other. We're all in this together.